Hey, this is Frederick and Glenn from the Property Guys. We're here at Abnormal Beer Company in beautiful Rancho Bernardo with Matt DeLoach, who is the genius behind this whole concept here.
So,
And then I just left Glenn literally speechless.
you left me hanging.
Yeah.
But it's all good, though.
It's okay.
So, before we dive into this, which
Yeah.
we're ready to do right now, let's just thank our sponsors really quick.
Go ahead. Sure.
So, let's thank Ryan and Darren at Hot Mortgage for always doing our lending needs. Sarah
Absolutely.
Gallegos with Open Escrow, handling all our escrow, and Alexi Hutchins handling our title with First American. And now we got the formalities out of the way. Let's start drinking some beer.
Yeah.
And seeing why we're actually here today.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the things people don't know is that the Property Guys isn't just about real estate and what's going on with that. We're really trying to be embedded in the community. We help people obviously fix up homes, and we're interested in local businesses and what they're doing. So this is our first local spotlight, we're calling it, with Property Guys with Abnormal Beer Company.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much for reaching out and having your first one here.
Absolutely.
It's
No,
awesome.
we're
Appreciate
excited.
it.
Yeah. So I think one of the things that was fascinating I read about you was, and you could speak as much as you'd like about this. We'll cut it and we'll edit it down anyway. Don't worry about it. Is you actually have a background in winemaking.
Yes.
Which is fascinating. So kind of take us back. How many years back does that go, and how did that start?
Ooh, winemaking for me started back in the late 2000s. And it was just really kind of a hobby, something that I started with my brother. He got really into it, and it was part of our kind of long-term plan. We thought, it'd be great in the distant future to, at some point, retire, have a winery, and just kind of make a really cool, neat concept, and just have that be kind of our thing.
Yeah.
And ended up expedited a bit, obviously, to a few years after that. And it was actually my mom that talked me into opening it up as an actual business. I was doing software at the time, so kind of software during the day, winemaking at nights. Found this location, thought it was great, kind of nestled in between Forest Ranch, Rancho Bernardo, Poway.
Yeah, sure.
Just kind of started building.
So where are you from originally?
Interesting.
Originally from Santa Barbara, but grew up here in San Diego. So
Okay.
ever since I was 5 or 6, I've been through the school districts down here.
Where'd you go to college?
San Diego State.
Oh, see, now I'm
Really
Aztec.
far. Yeah.
I'm
Aztec,
opposite because I grew up in LA, but I went to UC Santa Barbara.
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm
Where
actually
in Santa Barbara did you live?
I don't know if you're familiar with the just past the Mission up on the hill.
Yeah.
Kind of Little Riviera. Yeah.
That's a very nice area, by the way,
That's
guys.
awesome.
This is an area that nobody can get into now.
Well, it was very different back then.
No, I know, but you know what I'm talking about now.
Yeah.
It's like basically you have to wait for somebody to die.
Yes.
A lot of older folks living up there, and it's it's a nice area.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah,
It's beautiful.
Beautiful views up
So
there too.
we used to leave every year for Fiesta. Now we try to get up there for Fiesta every year to kind of get back to the area.
So what are
Nice.
some of your favorite wines?
I'm a big fan of the kind of the funky, eclectic stuff. So some fun stuff from Greece and just fun little appellations in places, especially if I'm able to actually get there and taste. I guess kind of the funkier the better. But as far as like my daily drinking, right now it's summertime, it's hot, so like a nice Viognier or Albarino is generally
very
what I'll
cool.
go for. Yeah.
I should be taking notes.
Take some notes.
Yeah, right? I gotta
Well, I
study
think
some
one thing that strikes me about Santa Barbara, my wife and I are big winos. I probably drink too much wine, but whatever.
There's no such
Hey,
thing.
you die later, whatever. Enjoy it while you got it,
Enjoy
right?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
But what I really love about Santa Barbara, and I think Paso Robles is similar too, is that the topography of those areas is so drastic.
Oh yeah.
Compared to like Napa. Napa's inland, so they can only get so much coastal breeze and that cooling. I mean, they get some of it, but the beauty of Santa Barbara and San Ynez and also Paso Robles is the coastal side, they can do like these beautiful Pinots, on one side of the mountain. On the other side, they're doing Cabs and Zins.
And it's that beautiful range, and it's just
Bizarre.
butted right up against the
Yeah.
coast, and they're just the big sheer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the things that was interesting about, we were talking before we got on camera, but I have like an idea about a business, and the reason that I came up with it was that I started with wine. I love wine. And wine is a craft. It's about the soil, it's about the sun, there's all sorts of, the grapes, and beer has transitioned into that. And so kind of talk about how you kind of transition, what brought you into brewing.
Yeah. So as you said, started up with wine. I feel like the process with wine is really just don't mess up what the grapes did. That's your job as a winemaker.
Interesting.
That's your, just don't mess it up.
Yeah.
With beer, I feel like it's the complete opposite. You have all of these, fantastic ingredients, and you can just kind of bring them together and make, a delicious beverage, and be able to
Hazy dreams.
for the most part, be able to repeat it. That's much harder to do on the wine side.
Right.
And so it's always kind of the path that I wanted to go down. I built everything with my best friend James and Elvin, and so we kind of had a roadmap of where we wanted to go. So starting with wine, and then moving into beer, food,
Cool.
And then at some point spirits.
Yeah. Nice.
I'm a
Whoa.
big whiskey fan.
That's a nice
Oh.
big tease right there.
So,
Ooh, baby.
Yeah, so just the kind of the concept of it, and in addition to that, the environment of the beer community, the collaborative nature of it,
Right.
Just that whole atmosphere is just so different, and it's such a stark contrast to the wine industry.
Right.
So it's something that really drew us to it, and it's one of the components of like the genesis of the name Abnormal. Was to kind of bring in these other facets and these other these things to the wine industry that didn't exist, and
Sure.
create a different culture and just kind of go our own path rather than just following the kind of the normal
right.
winery route.
So to clarify, so when you guys started here, you started the wine first and then got into the beer here,
Yep.
correct?
Yeah, correct. So the front
Interesting.
door that you walk in,
Yeah.
Suite 1, 2, 3 is the original suite that we were in. It was a little 500 square foot tasting room, very
Nice.
modest. And then everything was in the back. So we kind of had a single office, and then the production area in the back. And that was it. And so
Wow.
when we started to get into food, the original executive chef, Mike Arquinez, we would pull all of the furniture out and bring in, tables, because everything was kind of sat up high.
Yeah.
And we could squeeze in, say 18 to 20 people in there and do some course menus. And
That's great.
It was really a lot of fun.
Good memories, though, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, much
So
simpler back then.
How does it
Yeah,
differ?
right.
So you were doing software,
That's what
in,
I was
in
gonna
that
ask.
business, yeah. Well, go ahead and ask it.
Like,
I'm talking too
how
much.
do you go from software to wine? Like, what? Obviously, this is your passion you're in now.
Yeah.
Software was there to pay the bills, type of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, bridge that gap for us.
It's kind of one of many gaps that comprises my life. I mean, I've gone from, apparel to finance to real estate to medical software to regular software, building material distribution. I drove a big truck from here to South Dakota, basically straight. And,
Nice.
through like tornadoes. Just all sorts of kind of wild, random things that just
Right.
have kind of transpired, and it's just
So you're like the
Yeah.
ultimate dude to have a beer with, and
Yeah.
now you make fantastic beer.
Exactly. Good point.
really setting the bar here right now, straight out the gate. It just kind of happened, I guess, is
Yeah.
ultimately. I just they've been passions, and that's kind of what Abnormal is all about. Is we bring together people who have different passions, and we make cool stuff.
I was going to ask you about that. So the word abnormal, we know what that means, but for you guys, like, why did you use that term to describe your beer company?
So the origination of it was really when I was talking about the wine industry in the beginning. It was the deviation from the normal path that kind
Gotcha.
of everybody goes with wine, and really bringing a different culture to the table. And we've built on that, and we use that as our core principle, and really to not necessarily just do what other people are doing in kind of the sense that you see out in the market, but really listen to all the ideas and really try to come up with something that's fun, that's different, and do things differently. Be abnormal, embrace our own individuality,
Sure.
and do something.
Do you think that your background in wine helped you, I guess, create or conceive a beer company that's a little bit different than we see in San Diego? I mean, him and I, the reason we came up here is that to me, we've been to what, 60, 70 breweries in San Diego?
Yeah, at least.
Probably, yeah.
At least.
And consistently, your beers are fantastic. And I'm not
So-
just kissing your ass. They're fantastic. No, they are. They're fantastic. They really are.
I can't take any credit for that.
Here,
I
here. Well,
myself have absolutely no business owning
Yeah.
a brewery.
But you're
It's
still a
just-
concept.
Sure, yeah.
Right, conceptually.
But it's the people, it's the team that you build, it's the guys right now in the back that are crafting these.
Which
these
we're going to
amazing
get to,
beverages.
guys. The
Right.
Brewer's coming up in the next segment.
That's
by
the
way.
next part. I can already tell Matt's a very smart person.
Yeah.
Right? You surround yourself with
Man,
people,
smart, genius,
good
smart,
people,
and
and then you have an idea. You're the visionary. That's important. A lot of people don't have vision, especially with real estate. Obviously,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
walk into a house.
That's a good point.
You gotta
You know,
see the
it's from
vision.
the '60s. It's a shag carpet and popcorn.
Yeah.
We walk in and we're like, "This is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna be a dream come true." And our buyers are like, "You guys are nuts.
Right.
This place is crappy." I was gonna say something else.
Self-censor, love it.
You know, you have to have that vision, and then sharing that vision with people is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's a great attribute to have, and obviously it's very successful for you. And
So I think that's interesting though, because you and I, when we run our business, we do it the same way, which is it's hard for some people who are, I guess I don't want to say visionaries because that's a little strong, but people who foresee what they want to accomplish.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's a little hard for them to give control of the actual minutia.
Extremely. That's
Right?
actually been one of my biggest struggles. Is
Right.
I've always, especially just kind of being in software, you can kind of you have full control.
You
over
control it. Yeah,
Exactly.
totally. Yeah.
It's been the biggest limiting factor with Abnormal has been me learning to peel that control away
Right.
and allow people to really.
Well, I called
do
one
things.
day.
you're allowing people to be creative.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I tend to bite off more than I can chew, and sometimes, especially in the past, I'm getting better at it.
Sure.
But it's really giving that over and allowing somebody to excel and to succeed in
Right.
their own right, and that's been the most fruitful thing that I've really.
Yeah,
As far as
the first day I was up here and I was trying to get a hold of him, I called and she's like, "Yeah, he's out hanging lights."
Yeah, they got all the lights hung on
To
the
your
deck that
point,
day.
though. To
Yeah.
your point, you're like, "Nah, I'll do it. Whatever. Give me the ladder. I'll do it."
Yeah, but a lot of times it's kind of I'm still figuring it out as I'm doing it, so it's
Sure.
like I haven't had the time to really be extremely premeditated in that instance, and
Right.
I'm kind of a shoot from the hips sometimes.
Yeah.
And,
So where
We're
do you,
always like that.
so other breweries in San Diego. So let's talk about a little bit about, and we'll talk to your brewer as well. But it's interesting to talk to people that own breweries and experience, the actual taste of the beers and
Right.
the art of it, the craft of it.
Yeah.
So what other breweries in San Diego do you kind of look at and you're like, I really like their beer. I like how they run their business, or
Ooh, this is
because we got some big ones here.
Oh yeah,
I
and
already
which
have
is
a couple in my
Some
mind.
of the biggest.
yeah, which is fantastic because it's such a competitive market, and
Yeah.
so I feel like this is like if you're going to do it somewhere, if you can do it here, then you can do it.
Good point.
Anywhere.
Yeah, one of my other kind of limitations, I would say, is that I'm just not like a super social person, so I don't get out there nearly as much as I should.
Got it.
Get out there and socialize and and,
Sure.
network.
Sure.
So I actually haven't been to a ton of other breweries. The most interaction that I get is when we have.
You can go with us.
Yeah, when we
You
have
can go
people
with
come
us.
over here and we do collaborations and whatnot.
Sure.
So like Andrew from Virgin,
Yep.
super cool team. Love their beer, love their stuff.
Yeah,
Pure Project, obviously, fan
Mhm.
favorite of San Diego.
Yep.
I'm, there's tons. I would love to shout out, everybody.
Yeah.
But there's so many good breweries here in San Diego, and so much good beer that
I know.
really hard to just like
Yeah.
point and.
I can appreciate that. Yeah.
It really is a close knit community,
Yeah.
right? And we've noticed people will intermingle,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you pick up something here, like you're talking about, and
Yeah.
it becomes your own.
sure.
You become your own person within this community, maybe somewhere else down the road.
Yeah,
Right.
and it's kind of you share the knowledge. There's no this notion of like I know this and I'm not going to tell anybody. Yeah.
You'll never.
No,
find
it's
out.
they
Yeah,
come
I
here.
know what you're saying.
Everybody comes. You brew and you
Yeah.
share information. You talk about techniques, and everybody gets better. And that's I think one of the main components of what has made San Diego such a fantastic destination for craft beer.
Yeah.
Is because we have this great community.
Yeah.
And there's just been so much that has so much information that has been shared so quickly.
Yeah.
And that we've been able to produce really, really
Yeah.
great products here.
So that's called open mindset for you guys. The sharing and
Yeah.
collaboration. It's called an open mindset.
Yeah.
It's very important. I learned about it from my daughter who graduated 6th grade. She's going into middle school. they teach open mindset. So
Nice. That's actually a good thing. Yeah.
yeah, it's
That's
very
great.
It's great. It's good to
Yeah.
collaborate with people. It's good
Well-
that I'm not even going to say the word. It's done, and we can
Don't.
do this.
Don't.
And we can be
We promise
who
we
we're
wouldn't
meant to
even
be.
mention it.
We can be a community
Exactly.
around each other, talk to each other.
But yeah, but it's like I was alluding to earlier is that we've had to learn the same thing, which is early on we controlled everything. We can do this, we can do social media, we can do video. And the reality is that, and you'll see if Stormie cuts to our B-roll going right there, you need people, right? And
Yeah.
so when you find somebody who's good at something, like you said, give them the keys to the car, let them excel,
Yeah.
right? And maybe you might have to, veer them a little bit, but
Give some navigation, but
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
most part, yeah.
because I don't know much about social media
I don't know
placement
anything
or
about it.
advertising. I know nothing, so I hire people to do it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I think one of the things that is interesting too, when you're starting a brewery in San Diego, this is one of the things people always ask me, like, what is the licensing requirements? Because some breweries we go into, they're like, oh no, we have no food, right? Or they'll get a food truck. Like you guys have a full
Smart.
kitchen. Yeah, probably.
Right.
Yeah, right. So what are the different, like how difficult is it to get a license for brewing in San Diego? First question. Secondly, what are the differences between those types of licenses where one has food, one doesn't, and what's the complications with that?
Yeah. So to answer your first question, very easy.
Yeah.
We have a 23 here, so we're a beer manufacturer. Those aren't regulated like other liquor licenses and whatnot.
Okay.
Because there's no actual liquor being served here. So the actual manufacturing side, very easy. And then as far as a food, again, very easy. You just get set up with the city and the health department, and because you have a manufacturer's license, you can have a bona fide eating establishment there as well.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's actually, and it also kind of works as a loophole. So normally you cannot have a restaurant at our location. We're in an IP 2-1, which you guys are probably familiar with, but
Yep.
basically light industrial. And so you can't have a retail establishment here, but you can have a restaurant, a bona fide eating place, in a beer manufacturer or a wine manufacturer. In this case, we have it under our wine license. And so we can have that here because of the way that everything works.
Right.
And so relatively easy in that regard, as long as you follow the rules and complete all the steps. So you get registered with the government, so with the TTP to get started. You get your beer manufacturer license, your wine manufacturing license, and then you get registered with ABC at the state level with California, and really from there it's pretty straightforward.
All right, there you go,
Cool.
folks. You
Wow.
home brewers at home.
Yeah.
There you go. That's how you
That's the
start a
next
brewery,
Entire path.
There it
Yeah.
is.
right? I guess the biggest piece is trying to scaling, right? So I've talked to some of the breweries too. It's interesting. They have I'm sure you're a business guy, I can tell. They have very different ways they're trying to structure their business. So there's backdoor and front door business, right? So for example, your front door here, we're in this brewery, you got a restaurant, I buy a pint, it's $6, $7, $8, whatever it is. But then there's the wholesale out of the back end.
Yep.
And that's the manufacturing. That's where, so how do you guys structure your kind of business model?
So we set everything up originally really retail focused.
Okay.
In order to get the name out there, it doesn't really do well if you can make a bunch of product, get it out, through wholesale, but then nobody buys it.
Sure.
Right.
You have to have sell through. So you have to create that marketing presence. You have to have a name in order to pull the product through the market, actually, and for the wholesale side to work.
Sure.
So we really focused on that for the first handful of years, really building the name and that side of the business first, and then started working on, all right, let's scale things from here. We now know what works, what doesn't work.
Yeah.
We've had time to test things in the market, and then now we're ramping up on the wholesale side to really scale that.
So on the business side, do you feel like
Very good.
if you were to put a business plan together for a brewery, say a 10-year plan, what is the percentage of revenue that you would like to see going back door versus front door? I'm just curious about the stratification of that.
Oh man, I mean, it totally changes. In the beginning, like all front door, 100%.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Like you want to just really focus on that, knock that out of the park.
Sure.
And then basically you start to see the the back door side, really start to scale up.
Yeah.
As you get a few years in, and then from there you should really your majority, by and large, should be the wholesale
Yeah.
side.
And then you got to catch up on production too, right? So if you start selling, now you got to produce.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because I saw your guys' stuff at Trader Joe's the other day.
Yep.
Which I hadn't seen yet.
Yeah.
I was in there the other day. I've been buying it's Made West up out of Ventura.
Okay.
They make a nice hazy. It's like a 7%. It's great.
Yeah.
Little 4-packs. And I saw abnormal right next to it. I'm like, I'll grab one of those too.
Nice.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank
Yeah,
you. For the
that was
support.
cool.
Yeah. Trader Joe's has been fantastic. It's been a great,
Yeah.
great chain for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you guys do if, or how does a brewery adjust? Let's say they do get big. Now, it's probably not going to be sculpin big. Nobody is, but that ship has sailed. However,
It could be.
when you have demand, how do you scale that? Or do you not want to scale it? That's the other thing too. Maybe
They might
Hey.
want to leave it small batch. Yeah.
yeah.
It's something we definitely want to get to. We do want to scale. We want to be able to provide more. We feel like we have a great team here, and we want to be able to share those crafts with more and more people.
Sure.
There's also the added benefit that as you scale, the economies of scale with that, and
Correct,
it
yes.
becomes actually more sustainable.
More profitable, yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I think that's one of the big misconceptions with breweries is everybody thinks, oh, you have a brewery, you guys make bank, yada, yada, yada. Not the case at all. I mean, until you get to, a few thousand barrels,
Right.
you're just skimming by. This has been more of a passion project for me. It's not something that I've even taken a paycheck, other than like a very minimal one as of, late, mostly just to get insurance from. Not something that
I think Mr. Wonderful would love to hear that right now.
Yeah, right.
Good job.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, there's definitely some misconceptions in that regard, but by and large, I would say takes time.
Yeah. So when you're brewing on site, look, we got a bunch of
Some big old barrels.
distillers,
Yep.
distillers not the right word. What's the word I'm looking for?
Technically, these are unitanks, fermenters.
Okay. So like
Yeah.
one of
These
these, they're stainless steel, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
What does one cost, just out of curiosity? You
So
guys
for
gotta bring
these
one in.
guys, these are about 17,000, and then we have the ones.
That's like a car, guys.
Yeah, it's like 3 cars back there.
And then we have 3 40-barrel tanks that line the back of this room. This was actually a really fun addition to us. When we were scaling, we were trying to figure out how we could pack in as many fermenters or as much volume as possible.
Sure.
And the
Yeah.
manufacturer, Premier in this case, said that you guys can't fit this many tanks in here. There's not enough space. And I apologize. I don't think we've been back there yet, but I'll take you for it.
We will, yeah, we'll go, yeah.
It gets tight, but it worked. Because you have the added constraint of like, okay, you get them in, but then how do you stand them up once they're in there and get
Sure,
them set?
yeah.
So,
Yeah, I never even thought about that.
yeah.
And then where are they manufactured?
I'm not sure where they get the main components, but they bring them into Escondido and they do all the finishing and kind of the
Okay.
final work
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can't speak for their business, but
Yeah.
we get them from Escondido.
Right.
Okay. Cool. Good old Escondido.
Yeah.
So as we're wrapping up here, because we just got the whatever Stormie's sending us, I don't know.
I thought it was like a language. You guys
Yeah, it was
spoke.
some sort
I
of
just-
language.
I feel very isolated. Over
So
here.
It's called sign language.
So what's been the biggest, I guess, obstacle for you? Getting this business going, and then what's been the biggest kind of reward?
I would say the biggest obstacle has been myself.
That's usual, right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think for the most part, as far as the normal, business obstacles, they come and go. Everybody deals with it. It's not really anything unique, but really kind of learning your own limitations and getting out of the way in order to allow the business to succeed has been, it's definitely been an ongoing learning experience for me. As far as reward has been the people.
Cool.
The team that we have here
That's
is hands down, they're the best.
Yeah.
The best that anybody could ever hope for.
That's awesome.
And between Ginny, our GM here, Becky, basically the assistant general manager, but she does all the events. Chef Scotty, Scott Cannon, our executive chef here, like hands down, just such great people.
Nice.
And then on the beer side, we've had some great brewers come through here. Started with Derek. We got introduced and brought Niall in, and then now have Jason Martin, which you guys will be talking to
Yeah.
after this. Fantastic guy. He's been here just for just coming up in a couple months now, but
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
such a fantastic human. And then a lot of the great guys, Paul Cessna, who just had a baby boy.
Nice. Congrats.
And,
Well, congratulations to Paul.
Yeah. Well done.
And just great humans and great people to work with.
It's awesome.
So you're producing greater beers,
Yeah.
and you're also producing a greater Matt.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Yes. I like to stay behind the scenes and kind of out of the camera. So, but yes, I feel like I've definitely learned a ton, and it's been, there's been a lot of reward in that, but I derive that from the people.
That's cool. So you guys have a good balance here. You got kind of a family environment,
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But you're learning to kind of step away and let everybody do their thing now that it's sort of humming along a little
Yep,
bit, right?
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome. Cool.
I have one question for Matt though before we get going.
Do it. I'm going to finish my beer.
So, is there a beer out there you've yet to produce? And 2, can you name it Property Guys or PG or Fred and Glenn or something?
We can
Kind of give us a
definitely-
shout out on your beer.
That would actually be funny.
we could definitely do something. We'll put something here. We'll talk.
Yes.
That would be
and,
actually really cool.
see what you guys like, and we'll
Yeah.
put together.
Oh, I'm going to give a
We love hazy doubles.
I'm going to
All right.
before we wrap up, I'm going to give you a shameless plug, by the way.
Yeah, go
which
for
is so you were talking about distilling, and so one of my really good friends actually is one of the owners of 117 West.
Okay.
Do you know them out of Vista?
I don't.
So if you ever want to like just pick brains and look at equipment and all that, those guys
Love
rock.
to.
117 West, good stuff. No, it's really good whiskey. Seriously,
Awesome.
they're doing whiskey, rye, bourbon.
gins.
They're doing barrel strength stuff.
Nice.
They're doing the gin and the rum are kind of on the back burner now. I think.
Okay.
I don't know, but
Yeah, you never know.
anyway, yeah. But I think you'd have a good time going up there and checking it out.
Awesome. Yeah. Have you
Anyway.
guys heard of Malahat?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. They're
Yeah.
great humans as well. Love their
Yep.
stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Talk to them a little bit too.
All right. So I guess this is the end of this first segment. Thank you, Matt DeLoach.
Thank you very much for coming.
Glenn
Yes.
Dulier.
Thank you, Matt DeLoach.
And thank you, Abnormal Brewing Company.
Yeah, it was
Beer
great
company.
being here.
I almost said it
Thank
wrong.
you.
Abnormal Beer Company. Sorry. But we'll catch you on the next segment with the brewer.
Jason.
What's his name?
Jason.
Jason. Coming back to you.
Awesome.